Have you ever been so frustrated with yourself for messing up? Like you messed up bad. I mean, you wanted to do good, but you did bad. You know what I'm talking about. We all have messed up. Now, if that happens, we tend to be hard on ourselves, right? Like, we can be our own worst critic. Sometimes we beat ourselves up over and over and over again. Listen, God knows we're gonna mess up because we're human. And listen, God knows us better than we know ourselves. He knows how quick we are to beat up on ourselves when we mess up. So, in response to that, God gave us a word picture of what we should do when we mess up. And it's found in Psalm 51. It's one of my favorite psalms. Here's the backdrop. David, who wrote this psalm, had just messed up big time. He had committed adultery with Bathsheba, and then he tried to cover it up by getting her husband killed in battle. Now, when he was confronted by the prophet Nathan, he knew he messed up. In fact, he knew he messed up deeply. Listen, he knew he messed up with God. He knew he messed up with his wife. He messed up with his kingdom. I mean, he messed up everywhere. So David wrote Psalm 51, and it's a beautiful psalm because he's giving us a word picture of what we should do when we mess up. And notice 3 things in this psalm. No. 1, he acknowledged his sin. In verse 3, he says, "For I acknowledge my faults. My sin is always before me." Here's the point. When you mess up, don't try to justify it. Don't try to minimize it. Don't try to ignore it. Acknowledge it. Own up to it. Look, we're all gonna mess up. We're all gonna mess up at some point. I mean, that's part of being human. But what's not human is to run from it, to hide from it, to pretend like it didn't happen. No, own up to it. Admit it. That's what David did. And here's the beauty of this. He didn't just acknowledge it to people, he acknowledged it to God. This is so important. When we mess up, we tend to go one of 2 ways. Okay? Either we'll confess it to people or we'll confess it to God. Let's be honest, right? Sometimes we'll even confess it to people, but we won't confess it to God. Or sometimes we'll confess it to God, but we won't confess it to people. This is why David's so unique here, because he confessed it to both. He didn't just say, "Oh God, forgive me," but he also went to Nathan and said, "I messed up." So when you mess up, own up to it. Own up to it to God, and own up to it to people. Second thing that David did was he asked God for forgiveness, and he does this in verse 4, and it says, "Against you, you only, have I sinned and done what is evil in your sight." Now, he's acknowledging that he sinned against God. But notice what he doesn't do here. He doesn't try to justify it. He doesn't try to minimize it. He doesn't try to ignore it. He owns it. He owns it to God. He goes, "God, I messed up. I did what was wrong in your sight. I acted in a way that wasn't pleasing to you. I know that I hurt you. Now, I don't know about you, but that encourages me. I mean, to know that when I mess up, David messed up too. And the beautiful thing is, he owned it. He didn't run from it. And he asked God for forgiveness. And you know what? God forgave him. Look, we need to learn that when we mess up, when we fail, when we fall, let's go to God. Let's ask God for forgiveness. But here's the third thing that David did. After he asked God for forgiveness, he made a vow to change his ways. And he does that in verse 12, where he says, "Restore to me the joy of your salvation and uphold me with a willing spirit." So David's saying this, "God, I messed up. I've sinned against you. I know that I hurt you. Please forgive me. And God, help me. Help me not to mess up again." He made a vow to change his ways. When we mess up, we need to make a vow to change our ways. We need to make a commitment to God saying, "God, I will never do this again." And look, God will help us. God will give us the strength, the power, the ability to change our ways. We can't do it on our own, but with God, we can do it. So when you mess up, will you own it? Will you ask God for forgiveness? And will you make a vow to change your ways? Because that's what David did in Psalm 51. And God gave him another chance. And God will give us another chance if we do the same thing.